Welcome to the Hessian Scrum podcast. I am your host, Rafael Alecto, and today the special guest I'm bringing you is Laure le Prunenec, whom you may know from many projects such as Igorrr, Corpo-Mente, Öxxö Xööx, Ipsis, and her own solo project, Rïcïnn. Laure, thank you a lot for being here with us.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I hope you are feeling all right there in France.
Yeah, everything is fine. I live by the coast, so it's nice. It's really nice. At this moment, I'm not so cold because I used to live in the north of France, so it used to be cold, and now it's starting to be. The spring is coming, so it's kind of a rebirth, let's say. It's good for the mind. Everything is starting to live again. It's kind of a great moment in the seasons. I like it.
An awakening.
Yeah, really. The flowers are coming from the. Can see my grass. Like everything is just rebirthing, and it's very, very, very beautiful.
It's very interesting that you mentioned that, because that's actually one of the things I wanted to talk about here, which is that I think your music, especially Rïcïnn, has a very sort of neo-tribal feel. Like it has this feel of a primordial energy that's taking from it. So can you talk a bit about this spiritual aspect of the music, which to me seems to be at the very core?
Yeah, I think it's very natural that I don't really think about it. You know, it's kind of came naturally when I started to create my own music, and I really started from voices that I heard in my head, but in melodies. But it really comes from something I think that is about the silence. But that is never a silence, of course, of nature. It's what I call the silence of nature. It's really where I go when I want to resource, and the walk by the sea, and to hear those waves, very strong waves, to hear those birds, to hear the really, to let everything inspires you, and not really trying to reach anything. Just let the sounds coming and inviting you, and just let it go. And it's really something that I've learned with myself, like to be able to let go, and to just breathe and feel the moment, taste the moment, the present, and nature really teach me that, you know, just be happy about what's happening right now, you know, and be able to erase yourself from this, and just taste it. Just be here to contemplate, and to be just
To become
welcoming all this, you know, inside of you. And then the matter comes, you know, it just you reproduce kind of the melodies you just you just let create in your mind without even trying to, you know. It's kind of a little bit magic what's happening. So it's already magic without superficiality or anything more than that. It's already big, huge, to not just paying attention. I think the foundation of the fundament, the basement of my project is really that, because I'm really inspired by. I'm not really inspired by the music, or I think it's inside of me already, because it's, of course, I'm influenced by the thing I already heard, like anyone. But I think also that what's happening really in life and events you can go through, or thing you can see in nature, or if you really feel like I am. I love observing. I love being just here and see humans moving and animals, and it's really fascinating to me and inspiring. Everything is inspiring me around. So it's very my way to, I think, to create. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very interesting. So from that description, I think we can also, it's probably correct to say that it's also a very therapeutic process, right? Sort of a self-healing.
Yeah. Yeah. And my method of thinking is, I think it's really the thing that helped me the most, like to pull out what is here and use it, and use your feelings and your emotions of the moment, of the present, to and let it out, and we'll see after. We will dig of what I recorded and what I was inspired at the moment, just out. I let it out, and then I really start to work on it. But I like the process to just let it go first and let everything out. Even the thing I would never use maybe on my songs, but it doesn't matter. It just let the moment printing somewhere, the vibration of the moment. I need to fix it somewhere. Then sometimes I work years after that. It's just I need just to print this moment that I find with myself important. That's my choice. Like, I choose what is important and what is not in the moment, and I just fix it later. Yeah.
I think all of this is very interesting because, in today's society, I think this is a very simple insight, to be honest, that it's very difficult for many people to really be able to connect in that way to the moment, to the instant, and to feel this sort of connection with the oneness that you describe, of feeling one with nature, feeling like. Well, this is very mystical, of course. This is sort of, I think, from what you've told, there's also this idea of the sort of ego death, right? Like emptying yourself in order to.
For me, it should be normal.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like to call it spiritual or call it mystical, because it's something that everybody could do. It's just a way to be connected, or not, with stuff around you. It's just being conscious or not. It's not. We don't have any connection. We never learn how to breathe, for example, at school. We never learn how to connect with your own self. To be a moment with yourself and just breathe. We don't teach this at school, and I think it's the basement of every human being, to be able to breathe and to hear your breathing, and to just know, to be conscious that you're not alone, that it's all around you. It's life, life is all around you, and it's full, and it's rich, and it's love for me. It's kind of life showing up. It's love. In every circumstances, in the beings. And in the plants, and the way that nature works. And it's not love all the time, because the creatures can be very predators, and the word is not only love. It's not what I'm saying, but it's just a manifestation of life that I think we disconnect with this. Then
alienated.
I think people return to it because they don't have the choice. They don't have the choice. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. When somebody is disconnected from this, it's like he's disconnecting from himself. So at one point he needs to go back to it. It's for me, it's just obvious. And I try to help people because I'm not on stage so much anymore. So I decided to help people to because it's a society where a system where you have to be the one. You have to be the one. You have to be competitive. You have to get money. You have to be on stress. You have to, and I try to teach them, or people that want to. I try to teach them to stop this for a moment, to stop being this outsider person, to be more concerned of what's happening inside, and to hear the voices that are screaming sometimes that I never heard because it's just putting under the carpet, and we will see later. But it's not good. It's not good because the inner self needs to be heard, because needs to be listened, needs to be talked to, needs to be, even if it's not by music or by the voice, whatever, but to communicate about this, your fears, your what you love, what you don't love, it's really something humanity needs to return to. The communication, the real one, not fake things, not I try to be somebody else because my own self is not interesting enough, because the level is so high now, everywhere you see on so high for certain levels of, depends on the taste, but it's like everything is so, you can be everything you want now on the profile. You can decide, today I decide to be this kind of person, and you try to show it to the world, but it's all fake. But the real self is dying. Is you make it, it's kind of a crazy world, of course. It's kind of it's hard to be. It's hard just to be today. Like I think it was this way for other reasons in another time. I'm not saying that it was better before. No, it's just hard to, I think, to just find a look in the streets, to look at people and just smile, to be sincere. It's hard today in the street to be honest, to be sincere, to be ourselves. Just that, it's really hard because there's a lack of, I don't know, time. Maybe everybody is afraid to not having enough money, to not having enough this or that, to be too little, to be too small, to be too ugly, to be everybody wants to shine, to be the best, to try first, please, to open your eyes and see what is around you. You're not alone. Like you should maybe try to to see that life is happening right now, and it's not only about you and your ego. It's it's about all humanity, and we are all in the same mess, you know, with emotions, with our personal dreams, with our personal disappointments, and I don't know. It's crazy for me to see how lonely we can be now. It's very sad to me. Very sad, because we have the potential to do so many great things. It just giving the confidence to people. That's why I want to do that. No, I'm very talkative. Sorry, but that's why I really now start to think about really make my own company to have more and more students. So academically, we would call it students, but it's just people that are just full of fears and full of in their own mind they're ugly, they're too small, it's just thinkings. It's just the way you think that is not good for yourself. And you start to be angry at yourself, and so you don't do anything for you that is good enough, that is you're never happy, never satisfied, and this can drive yourself to kill yourself, you know. If you don't find a way to, you know, to be happy somehow with what you have, with the body you have, with the mind you have, with the, you know, and to find in each human the potentiality, the capacities, to stop, like you know, put them in a cage and name things. It's so complex. Like we are humans are very complex. There's always something to very beautiful to use and to elevate, you know, to look up, you know, and it's yeah, it's very hard, I think, for certain people right now to feel just okay with themselves, and that's I think the real problem of today, like of this world.
Definitely.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't even know what was the question.
No, it's all no, it's okay.
I don't even remember the question. Sorry.
Well, I think those are actually very, very important, even urgent questions for today's world. And
yeah,
I think that I found interesting about all of these things that you said is that when you said that this was actually something natural for you. So this brings me to another question, which is, was it always like that? Was this being able to express your true self, being connected to, was this always easy for you, or did you have any sort of awakening there?
No, of course it comes from a lot of pain to be able to sing on stage like this, to do crazy thing like I did, you know, to show myself this way. It made me it made, first of all, a lot of time, because I was very shy. It's not the case now, but I had to really hit myself hard, you know, to be able to do. I had the need to sing, so I made it happen. That's really what happened. It's really like I said to myself, sorry, but I said, fuck it. You have to be brave, and you have to take your guts and go there. it was very, very hard because I used to like my comfort, little darkness, where nobody can see me, and doing my little songs in the dark when I was a teenage, you know. But step by step, of course, the need to express myself and to be, because I like to be an actress somehow. I like to express so many different emotions and so many. I feel a lot, you know. I'm a very sensitive person, of course, so I have so many things to say, but I always had to do it on my own, make it my own, because it was make me suffering if it was not the case. Because of course we all begin, we all start with something. So, you know, I had influences like everybody. I really loved Björk. I really loved even soul voices, like very great voices that I like the, I don't know, even Nina Simone voice. I could tell so many. I have no names coming out now, but I have so many examples of voices that really, like Freddie Mercury voice. Of course, I have, like everyone, I have a master's kind of, but I really had to find my own voice because I was not happy each time. It sounds too Bjorkish, or it sounds too this, or I was not happy about myself, and I hated myself. So I needed to find something, to dig inside of me, to find something that I would be happy about. And it's when I started to make choirs, and when I started to make my own choirs, like I probably was hearing in church when I was a little girl, like those Gregorian choirs that I loved so much. Something was kind of obvious to me that I wanted to do like my own harmonizing my own voice the way and I touched something this day when I started to, of course, with the language on my own, to express, to harmonize voices together. Like I really found something great in this. Like it was really me, that I was touching something very intimate and true about my musicality.
Another topic that I wanted to talk about here is that you've already announced a forthcoming Rïcïnn album. So what can you already tell us about that?
Yeah, I'm very happy because I think at the end of the process of writing my third album. I'm very slow. I don't make an album very fast. It's very, I let good time and life guide me. So I'm not this kind of person that is brushed by any reason, commercial or whatever reason. So I really took my time to do this one, and it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be very kind of the same, of course, universe that I have already, but more with the more metal parts and more kind of a warrior album. Yeah, more about the fight. I think, like we were talking about, like the fight with yourself, like to be good to yourself. It takes time, and to be able to be great to the others too. Yeah. It's a very it's a battle. It's a battle of every day. So I wanted to. It came naturally, like everything I do. It kind of it came naturally that I needed to express that. Yeah, on this album, like to whatever circumstance you are, whatever mess you are, whatever difficulty of life you are, trying to be always good to yourself and good to the others, and try to take the best of it, and never try to blame somebody else, or you know, trying to blame something else but yourself, because it's your decision. You always have the choice in life to be in the position you are right now. You could choose right now to not interview me and to be with I don't know who, a friend or whatever, drinking a beer, but you chose to interview me. You know, it's life is always a choice. From me, but in my opinion, there's also circumstances that, of course, are not easy. I know it's not always easy. There's of course, there's circumstances that push you to be even more extreme with life in general. Like you have to take a very, very hard decision for a certain person. They go through hell and they have really to. It's harder for certain people. That's what it depends on where you're born and how you're born, but even in this kind of situation, I think, and life is always here to teach you that you still have the choice. You still have the choice to be good to yourself and good to the others. It's always the battle. Whatever degrees of level of life you are, of the environment, of the, in every level, you always have to fight yourself. And that's a good subject.
Yes, it is. And that's why I'm, from what you've been saying about this fight, this constant battle for self-improvement, which can also be, in a sense, a fight for a better way of expression, a more genuine way of expression. I'd like to know how this relates to your initiative of starting your own solo project, Rïcïnn. Because, of course, I don't doubt that in previous projects like Igorrr, it was always a very natural, like you say, a very spontaneous.
Rïcïnn is born before Igorrr. Even if I just exist for the public, for the audience. Later on, 2018, my first album, because I found a label. It just the label found me. But I never was interested in releasing an album so much. I was just making my own music. That was so, never really important for me to just. I needed to do that. It was like to do my own song. Yeah, it was normal for me. It was not something I needed to publish so much. But I did it because I thought it was a good idea at this time to share my music to the world. But I was very shy at the beginning. That's why my first album is the representation of my back in the darkness, like me playing with my instrument that is my body, but very shy and very, very thin and very fragile. It's really the way the photograph that took this picture really understood my own at this time. I was very shy and very at the debut of my own project. But to release it to the world, like, but I already had many songs already.
When you talked about the visual representation on the album, how it really represents how you felt at the time, I immediately thought about the second album. So there's an interesting progression there, because the image on the second album is much more, let's say, liberated, much more warm, even the colors.
Yeah. It's less cold. There's a kind of a fire that starts to make bursts. It's like a burst in the inner self still, because there's always the me, like the tree me, the trinity of myself. They are kind of in a womb, like on the it's like my own womb, that I'm still inside a womb, but I'm trying to compose it better and to deal with myself, to deal with my voices, to deal with the movement of my soul. It's really about this. This album is really about the movement. That's why I call it Nereids, because it was a figure mythology. The Nereids are the nymphs of the ocean. And I thought it was beautiful to compare the movement of the soul and those nymphs that are also directing the kind of goddess of the ocean and taking care of everything in the ocean, and so it's kind of a representation of these movements that we have deep in our deep ocean, that we have to be brave enough to go through and to dive in and to find the movement of it and to feel it and to go with the flow. And yeah.
That's very interesting, because indeed the image of the ocean has been, I think, since the beginning of time, it's been used as a metaphor for the side.
Oh yeah, sure.
Right, including the less agreeable aspects, like the darker.
It's our father or our mother. The mother, yeah. It's yeah. I agree with you. Sorry. Finish your sentence.
Oh no, I was just saying that indeed it's a very natural metaphor. It's very natural to talk about the ocean in that way, because indeed, in psychology, for example, in Jungian psychology, for example, the archetypes, the ocean is really used as a metaphor for the unconscious. For example, for the psychic depths, including those that are not immediately perceivable.
Yeah, exactly. What is deep, what is very in the background, what is here, very present, but you have to be able to taste it. Really, you really have to be to make your own bridges to this background of yourself. This where you constantly. It's like for me, it's like we all have this, and we are the wave, like we are the movement, but there's always something that is more like the ocean, that is this stability, this foundation of ourselves that we all have, and yeah, that's always a good a good way to share to people this. That's why we use it a lot, like you said, in psychology or in songs, I guess. A lot of songs.
In France, you have a very good example. Baudelaire, he also has poems about the sea, right? Well, I think humans have it's a very obvious fact that humans have because of these aspects and others, that humans have a very deep, a very primordial connection with the sea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
And so,
sure. I take the sea like my mom. It's my mom.
Yes, well, it can also be a metaphor for the womb, precisely for the origin.
Yeah. It's where I come from.
Well, and it is literally where we come from.
Yeah.
This is right.
We don't know before that, but I know. Yeah, that's where I was, where every creatures were too. So it's kind of it's we all come from there. So yeah, it's mother sea, mother ocean.
Yes, precisely. And but when I was speaking about the more, let's say, within the sea, there's but the sea is very beautiful, I think. But there are also aspects. There's also a terrifying aspect to the sea, right? There's also the dark underbelly, the depth where the monsters lurk, right? And you yourself, when you were talking about the harmony of nature early on, you also mentioned the aspect of predation and the violence that is there. So this brings me to another. I think this is a very crucial question and a bit difficult, which is that in this journey of self-improvement, in this journey towards self-expression that we've been talking about, at some point there's also well, like you already mentioned, the rage, the more destructive, let's say, aspects. And I think that for a form of music, like, let's say, well, your music also has some metal elements, or in the case, for example, of Igorrr, which definitely adds some, very eclectic, but it definitely adds some metal elements to it. And even Rïcïnn also has that, I think. I think metal is a very obvious way of dealing with those, trying to deal with those feelings, with those impulses in a healthy and positive way. So I wanted to talk about this aspect. What's the role that this more destructive energy has in your creative process?
I think it comes from this. I think this feeling is more about something I cannot control in the reality of this world. We're not. We kind of slaves sometimes of situations and things that are made this way by nature, and you cannot control it. For example, the lion, like I said, he cannot control this. He has to eat, and he has to go to hunt and to literally hit alive other creatures. And it's like or many aspects of humanity too that we don't really control, don't agree with. It's kind of a fatality. I hate fatality. I'm a person really always with hope. So when you tell me no, it's not possible, I can really freak out. It's like something that really makes me very angry. And so I'm kind of somebody like,
that's the spirit,
dependent on, if tomorrow is the deluge, I will, it's the deluge, it's, what can you do about this? Nothing. We are kind of we can be big with the way we are, the way we share things to the world, and we can be very kind of big, but we will always be small somehow. So there's also this kind of fatality stuff that very makes me makes me wonder why is it this way, why it has to be this way, what's gonna happen, what's where we come from, where we go to, this kind of, everybody asks this question, I guess. wonder why we have to do all this. What is this? What is the goal? What is the grail at the end? What do I win? What do I lose? What is what all this pain is about? What is, you know, all those questions? I'm like everybody, you know, I'm really angry about my situation. Sometimes I cannot do anything about that. You know, it's this way. One day I'm going to die. One day I will have to lose my mother, or I will have to confront this pain, to the loss. I think the big loss is when you lose somebody you love. I think it's the worst thing. You know, it's kind of those kind of thing that makes me wants to take maybe a guitar that sounds really creepy and to scream. You know, it's at those moments. And it's always in the background too, you know, it's like, it's always there, you know, it's like my happiness too, it's always mixed and inside of me, it's never separated, you know. I have a part of me that is kind of, you know, like everybody, you know, it's in nature. I think it's here, you know, it's just right here. It's our DNA, you know.
Of course.
You always have a part of you that is let's say, very, and I have a deep connection, I think, with the dark part too, because I can be very, if I want to, if I decide, tomorrow I can be the worst person, you know. I have a deep, I can be the worst person, really, if I really want to. But for me, it's a game. It's so easy to destroy. So easy to I think it's easier to destroy than to make something great, and to make people happy really around you, and to be happy yourself. It's easier to take drugs and to pass your time drinking and having sex and I don't know, doing like very easy things, you know. I don't know. I don't want to be too specific on this, because it's very different for people. But I mean, it's very, you know, you are afraid of a spider, for example. It's easier to kill the spider than to try to accept the spider here in this room, and to tell her somehow you're invited, but don't come too close to me. But I accept you, and I'm going to work on myself, on my fear. It's always easier to, I don't know, it's you can so many examples you can find of this in life. Like it's always easier to just say to a person, get out of my life and don't come back, but to try to find a solution together and to fix it. You know, it's everywhere. You know, it's destruction is always something very easy.
The easy way.
It's the easy way, and so this rage is not only about, oh, I'm not happy about this or about that, like a capricious child. It's something very about my condition, that sometimes I can be very stupid, like anyone, you know. It's my to fight against my own nature, you know. It's very about that. It's really about my own demon, not only about, I'm not happy because the society, blah, 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 you know. But it's not about only complaining things. Of course, the things that I think are all horrible, actually, in the news and stuff. But start with yourself first. That's what I say to myself all the time. Start with yourself first. Don't complain about this. It's not your problem yet. Try to resolve your own problem first, because there's a lot to do, already. So, and with the help of the others too, because we learn a lot with the others too. We have to open our minds to this the most possible, like, yeah, very always try to not close the doors. That's what I would say to people, like, always try to open yourself, because it can be a lesson of life sometimes that is really helpful with many things. And tiny things sometimes, like the spider, like the little bug you will have in your shower when you're gonna take your shower, for example. It's very stupid, but so easy to just put water and kill this little thing that is just alive maybe 2 days. What is it? Is it so hard for you to just take time to put this insect outside? It's a very little example, but every little thing starts from the small. I think everything starts from the small. It has to start somewhere.
Sure.
The choices you make. But I know it's hard. I fight against this always with myself, because I'm the one that sometimes is just lazy, and I'm going to just kill this little bug. I have to be honest. But no, I struggle against myself and say, hey, this little thing is maybe living maybe 1 day or 2 in this life. What is it for you to just let it go outside and do the thing, like to just put it away? It doesn't give you like it's not a waste of time. Never ever, when you want to be good.
So of course it's very personal. I wasn't expecting our conversation to turn this way, but I'm glad it did. I think these are very interesting, very important topics, like I was saying. But now, more out of more, let's say, aesthetic curiosity, I know that you're also a big fan of cinema. So I would like to know a bit more. What are your preferences there? As in, what were movies or directors that inspired, this form of expression that you pursue?
I would say I'm very good audience for cinema. I don't have really precise, but I like things that are very close to human. When it's about stories all around the world, talking about really the human condition. And for this, there's Lars von Trier's, there's I like Iranian what's his name? I have a whole I have a black Kiarostami, merci. Thank you. I went to a festival of Iranian movies, cinema, and it was like so wonderful to discover this Iranian movies. I would say I like everything in cinema because I love actors, but as long as it's not too Hollywood and too much, with special effects and stuff. I think it's it can be good, but because like I said, I'm a good audience for cinema always, but easy, I'm not as difficult as I am in music, for example, but because it can be inspiring anyway and fun. I like to laugh. I really love to laugh. So it can be very diverse. I'm not. I can like every kind of style of cinema, as long as it's good and I guess with a very interesting topic in it, when you can think about it for hours after. And discuss with your friends and make argues and about the movie, and I love this kind of thing, and of course I'm like everyone, I love even the commercial movies, it's always interesting for me to see a movie. I love movies anyway. It's really, I could watch 10 movies a day. It wouldn't be a problem for me. It's what I wanted to do when I was a teenage. I wanted to be a director. So maybe it will be what I'm going to do more at the end of my days. I don't know, in my old days. I would love to release movies, and to be behind the camera, but also the actor, and I like every aspect of in movies. I think it's wonderful. I think it's really wonderful thing to be able to direct all this, to be the one that create all this. Yeah, it's and it's very it use all the aspect of talents. In movies, you will have a gardener, you will have people able to sew, to do the costumes. You will have so many different aspects of jobs and talents. But I think you need to be very mature and experience a lot of things in your life to be able to direct all this, and to be a good director. But yeah, I could tell you all the Jodorowsky, all the yeah.
Oh, I like him very much as well.
I could tell you all this, but it's so like it's kind of something you wait that I'm gonna say, so it's predictable. All the crazy. Oh, she's gonna like all the crazy shit. No, I'm very good public. I really love also things that are just moving. Just it can be I don't know. Yeah, it can be everything. I think I like a lot of things cinema. Anyway.
I think you said the essential, because you more than just names, you said why do you connect with those movies, like the reason. So that's the most important, I think. About your wish you were saying that you might become a film director later on, or an actor or an actress, and I think this is interesting because actually I think that in a sense this impulse is present in your music, because for example, when we were discussing your stage presence, this whole vibrancy, this whole being taken by these
cinematic.
It's very cinematic.
Yeah.
I think your music itself is also a bit cinematic, because it's very spacious. It's very it creates an environment. I think a lot with Rïcïnn, for example, there's a lot of layers, so it's very world.
Got it. Yeah, it's true. Period. You're right. what I can say about it, yeah, I always had a very cinematic and visual way to think, to
That's what I'm getting.
to think music. You know, it's for me, it's so obvious too. You know, some people see colors, some people, you know, they don't see, but they. I always had an imaginary for every songs and every gestures and there's always something visual in my head. You know, I'm very and it's the way I can survive also in this world, because it's so it's a way to look at life the poetic way. You know, it's always to find an imaginary thing about any circumstances and making my own. You know, yeah, I have my own cinema in my head, and it's great there. It's great there.
Although
I like it very much, to make my own cinema.
So I would add, I think that's an important question here that a lot of people don't really think about this, which is that when you were talking about this poetic sensibility, about seeing, the imagination, essentially, of course, there's a potential for delusion, but I think that the imagination in itself might be not necessarily an illusion, but actually a deeper sphere of reality. And this is actually something, this is present, for example, in mysticism. You know, a mystic like Ibn Arabi from Muslim, from Sufism, he has this idea about the eye of imagination, which is a deeper perception of reality.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we also reunite, I think, this way with other people, you know, that listen to my music and connect. They don't know the language, but I guess they know what kind of imaginary it can be, you know, and it's very interesting to know that it's accessible for everyone, you know, also by the sensations, by let's say virtual aspect. You cannot touch it, but it's here, it's in the air, you know. It's like very, very accessible, you know. The imaginary of like we all have the same let's say big clouds of informations, and I think, yeah, it's very accessible for anyone. It's just need to just have the ears and have the opening, but it's really accessible. Yeah, I made it accessible for everyone. That's why I was very I didn't want to make it a language with a language, understandable language, because understanding language, sorry, because it cuts from me the access to this cloud I'm talking about of imaginary and sensations, and the world of sensation and hypersensibility, you know, that we all can access to, and vibrations and stuff. When you put a word on something, you put an etiquette already, and it's already, you know, done. It's already closing something. Sometimes you need to, I guess, because I do, because I need to name things, but most of the time I think it was very nice to try to connect people with this
purer form,
this more abstract but invisible, but very present form of the existence that we all have, and that we need to connect to. Yeah.
Okay. Another thing that I caught that I found interesting was when we were discussing cinema and we were talking about how you're very open to all forms of expression there. You also said that with music you were a bit more difficult. So that spiked my interest. So in what ways are your music tastes more selective, maybe?
Yeah. It's really hard for me to listen to something I won't like, for example, really much. Like I never listen to music. It's really funny for a musician, but I don't consider myself so much as a musician because I don't really appreciate music so much. Okay. It's kind of crazy when I say it. I hear myself and I laugh about myself. Like it's maybe because it's too sensitive. It's something very intimate for me. Very it's like I don't like. I like nothing. It's rare when I like. And when I like, I don't like, I love. Like I'm crazy over something, and I will go till the end until I'm disgusted about it. I cannot hear it anymore. So it's very difficult.
An example, just of a case where you really love it.
That I like to hear. It will be a song of Arvo part, for example. It will be a song of it was in the past a lot Björk, because I think this woman is just a genius in her way to express her emotion. Less now because I think I discuss myself because I listen it too much. But it can be also things. It's really it could be I don't know, a song of White Pony, Deftones. It could be a Bulgarian song that I heard by mistake, like that. It could be a very like I fell in. It's like falling in love, It's a very I just eat it, devour it, and don't touch it anymore. It's like really I had this with the also Radiohead album, Amnesiac. I was 19 years old and now I'm 37, so it's not the same anymore. But my let's say my relation with music changed a lot. I used to listen to music before, but I think now let's say I never had this fan relation with music. I never was a fan of the bands, or I always found that it was ridiculous somehow, that I was so yeah, now I'm it's like I don't like to listen to music. I like to make it. It's very arrogant to say. I'm sorry. I recognize the talent, of course. I know when something is good, and even you can find good things in every kind of music too. I'm not I have a hard time to listen to reggae music, of course, but it's I think there's good thing also, when it's very done with the heart and done with the this vibration I was talking about, that you put in your sound, and that makes it eternal, and that makes that people will listen to forever. You know, like I have this this example of things that I can fall in love with, but that are completely crazy. Like this artist Gelbart, it's is Israeli artist. It's crazy music, but it's he's doing his video by himself. It's kind of, I understand what it means in his music, but I don't know why I love this kind of music, but it's kind of, you will see. It's interesting. So yeah, it's a kind of let's say, sorry, I made a little quick exit of what I was saying, but it's just, yeah, I think everything can be like Billie Eilish, for example. There's one or two songs that are, it's surprising, but it's because I don't like this kind of music usually, but I think it's nice and it's good because she does it with her heart. I don't think she's making a role or trying to fake something. Of course, in her appearance and stuff, and the image she gives to the others, there's something very kind of fake, and that's let's say in the movements of the fashion of her time. But she's so young that it's kind of normal, you know, to be in this kind of, she's in a hurricane, let's say, that she's experiencing, and she has to follow this. But in her song there's some very good thing, and it's very good production, and by her brother, I think he's making a very good job. But you know, I'm not difficult in a way that but it's in a way that I really rarely listen to music, because I like to let silence around me, to, like I said earlier, to let myself invited by my sounds. And it's already hard to find the silence, to make peace with yourself at the point that you can finally hear your own sounds. You know, it's something that I make happen more and more, because it's the way I like. But I like to go to, I prefer to go to shows when it's to discover music. I like to really like that somebody tells me, hey, there's this live show or this band that I would like you to listen. And so I go to the show, and I'm embraced by the, you know, I like to discover music this way.
Okay, so I've seen that we've gone through quite a lot of interesting things.
Okay.
So I now want to just want to ask you if there's any final appeals that you want to give to our listeners. Any final thing you want to say?
Oh, that's the hardest thing ever for me. Just don't, like I said earlier, because there's so much violence already in this world, so much violence, so much things that are scary. Just take it easy, and please don't be so angry at yourself. Try to give good vibes to yourself, and that's a very reggae stylish stuff to say. But it's yeah, I like to think that you take care of you, listeners. Take care of yourself, and be kind to yourself, and yeah, try to make things by your own. Don't listen too much to the others. Try to make your own dream happen. That's all advice I could say. The best advice I have for now.
Okay.